You have to play those guys.
I was going to live by that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming in hot this evening. Pinky and I are already discussing fantasy.
What a
We'll call
turd.
it situations because, some of them are good and some of them are bad. So the fantasy situations we were discussing here before we went live. And welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. It is Tuesday, the 27th of December. Hope everybody had a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, all that good stuff that everybody, Festivus, I don't know what you celebrate, but I hope it was good for you. We'll have kind of a quick show tonight with it being, people still hang out with family and friends and holidays and all of that. We're going to kind of recap and hit some new stuff. Obviously, talk some fantasy at the end, since that's a big deal coming up with the championships for most people will be this coming weekend. So a lot of NFL this week, and it's kind of that time of year. Playoffs are rolling around. We get real NFL heavy right now, and then it drops off. And we start talking a lot of basketball and hockey and some other things that more nonsense in the football off season for sure. But that's where we're at. My guy, Pinky, how you doing today, buddy? How was your Christmas?
Well, we won't talk about Christmas, but I mean, it's good. It's good. It's just, I will say, Christmas is just exhausting. It's just exhausting.
That's because you visit both families on the same day, don't you?
Yeah. So it was a long day. I got feeling really good at my father-in-law's. We had Christmas brunch, waffles, biscuits and gravy. I was doing Bloody Marys. Then I was doing eggnog, Evan Williams eggnog.
Oof.
And then I think I went back to the Bloody Marys. And then I switched to something else. I was drinking a lot. And then by the time I got to
remember your family's Christmas?
I do, because we got there and my stomach did not feel great. But I was like, okay, well, I'll still eat some of the food my mom made for Christmas, and I did. And then I just felt bloated and full, and I was not feeling good. So the whole time I wasn't very talkative. Mom was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, I ate too much. I'm full. Like, I just had that. I hate getting full at this point.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't need to. I've got reserves, but it just
my guy.
I just do not feel good when I get full like that. So yeah. So even today, my mom, she had me come over and do some stuff on her phone, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm fine. It's just I was full. I drank too much." "You drink a lot." "Well, I mean, I do on the weekends." I was like, "But I don't drink that much, Mom." "That's what an alcoholic would say."
Oh, thanks, Mom. We'll revisit this next year.
as I'm drinking, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's good. I mean, it's always good. Had a blast. Spent a lot of time with my father-in-law and my brother and sister-in-law, Ransom, Melissa. Love those guys. So it was definitely a good time. Too good of time, because was definitely worn out. I don't think I did much of anything yesterday.
Right.
So, but football Saturday, football Sunday. It's a good weekend, man. So
it was.
I had today off, thankfully, so did a little bit more around the house today, and get ready to jump into next year. But it was good, man. How was yours?
Good. In-laws are in town, so had them here. Jake came over Saturday morning-ish, maybe around 10, 11. I can't remember exactly when I picked him up, but picked him up. He came over, and they were baking cookies and hanging out and talking, and they were pouring drinks. And so I just casually turned on football and just kind of stayed on the TV all day. And I just kind of didn't say anything and sat there and hung out with them while I was watching football. And then Sunday, I got to do the same thing magically on Christmas Day. Instead of a bunch of Christmas movies playing, I just kind of randomly turned on football, and it just happened to stay there, and I didn't argue with it. So it was good. It was good. The little guy is old enough now to realize he's getting a gift, or that it's like for him, if you will. So he unwrapped a bunch of his presents and instantly started playing with everything and burned himself out. So that was good too. And yeah, good weekend. Good weekend. Now I've got the week off, so we'll go do some stuff around town. I think we might hit up the Denver Aquarium here sometime this week, since
there you go.
The little guy loves it, and we'll get out of the house and go do something. So all in all, it was a good year. Good year. Good way to wind down 2022.
I do like the Denver Aquarium. It's short, but
yeah, it's small.
It's good.
Yeah,
it is small, but it's good.
The couple times Merrick's been there, he's absolutely loved it. So now he's old enough to kind of walk the whole thing by himself if he wants to. So we probably won't even bring the stroller. I'll just let him walk, and if he needs to be carried, I'll carry him, and that way he can bounce around to all the things he wants to see.
Do you got the open stroller or the big stroller?
Open.
I just bring the open stroller, let him jump out if he wants to.
I might do that, but like you said, it's short. So like if I had to carry him through the whole thing, it wouldn't be an issue for me. It's not like I'm carrying him for hours on end. And I hate strollers because they get in the way. So if I can avoid having it, I wouldn't go to Disney World without one. Let's put it that way. But the aquarium for an hour,
he's big enough for that smaller one that they just can jump out of, right?
Yeah,
not the big one.
Yeah, he can kind of get in and out of stuff now. So we'll see. The wife will probably want it, and so I'll just deal with it. But
it's always a good thing.
Yeah,
it's always a good thing. I don't like them either, but they're a lifesaver when you need them.
I can't argue that. That is definitely a fact.
Right on, brother. I did get to go see Avatar.
And I've heard very mixed reviews about it.
I feel like if you liked the first one, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't like this one.
And that's kind of what I was feeling. This is what I've been hearing a lot of from, and I think it's people just trying to be pretentious and like they're better than everybody else, but the ones that didn't like it say the character building and dialogue and storyline was almost non-existent, but the movie itself looks beautiful. And that James Cameron keeps doing the same white man steals native people's lands. And I said, well, he's gotten pretty good at that with Dances with Wolves and things of that nature. So why not continue? And he tells a good story. So the first one was a good story, whether you want to agree with that or not.
So I mean, typically you shouldn't be going to a James Cameron movie for this great story. I mean, to me, T2 is his perfect film, in my opinion. That had it all.
It's hard to beat T2. I mean, that's an all-time great movie.
But like the characters are this movie's not really about the characters. It's about what the underlying, the morals of the story.
Right.
That's what it's really about. And then I want to show you some really cool shit. That's what it's
he's
about.
Not trying to like let you delve into like this one person and their life on a daily basis. He's trying to tell you like this epic situation that involves hundreds of thousands of people and situations. So he's got to lay it out a little bit different.
Seeing this one, definitely what hit me is it deals a lot more with issues of being a father.
Okay.
And when I looked at it through that lens, I was like, wow, this is awesome. Because it really is him, the main guy trying to be a father and then also trying to be a warrior and also, trying to help take care of his family and all the things that, you would have to do in those situations. And then my biggest thing about that is just the two actors, Worthington and Zoe Saldana.
Yeah.
They have no chemistry at all. They didn't have any chemistry in the first movie. That didn't change in this movie. so I like those two characters. Like I don't care about their relationship at all.
You know what Joey from Friends would say about that, right?
No.
No chemistry on stage means it's hot and heavy off screen.
Good old Joey.
And then when Chandler listened to him and it ruined Chandler's life, Joey said, "Why you listen to me? I'm an idiot."
He did play that well.
You're supposed to know these things. Classic, great stuff. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. You're missing.
Oh, Friends is great.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. Well, that's good. So Way of Water, worth it. I'm excited because he filmed 2, 3, and 4 all at the same time, or 2 and 3 at the same time, and then he'll do 4 and 5 at the same time, something like that.
I think he did 2 and 3 at the same time.
Yeah, so 3 should be coming out next year, was my understanding.
3's coming out next year, from what I understood. Yeah,
and then if I remember correctly, 4 and 5 will come out 2 years after that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure on the 4 and 5 one, but
that was the way I understood it. I read a big article directly from him talking about it, and it was really interesting. This is kind of like a passion project for him. He always had kind of 5 planned or somewhere in that range to tell the full story that he wanted to. So I think it's cool. I'm there for it. So it'll be interesting to see how it all ends up.
What you see on screen is like, you just don't see that. You just do not see that type of, visual graphics.
That's kind of what he's known for, though, right? Is telling an epic story. So it may not be the greatest storytelling, but it's an epic story that he's telling, and he's doing it in a way that nobody else has ever done before. He's always pushing those boundaries of film.
Which is, it's just, you have to see it. And to me, like, unless you've got a super cool hook up on the TV at home, you got to see it in the big screen. Like, that's the way to see it. So it's definitely Pinky approved. Again, I could see if somebody wants to nitpick it, sure. But I think if you're kind of nitpicking it, like, you're really looking at the wrong things. Right. Like, that's really not what the movie was made for. So I also got to see, I was really excited. I got to see Glass Onion.
We're going to watch that tomorrow, I think is the plan. So excited to see that. I like the first one a lot.
That one, it's on par with the first one.
Cool. That's good to hear.
So, and it's got a, Edward Norton, Dave Bautista, Kate Hudson. Like, it's got a really good all-star cast. They just work well together.
One, you know what I mean? Put a big ensemble together that everybody can kind of carry the movie if they needed to, and it just makes it that much better.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was excited. I was glad to see it. Watched it with the wife and Sonny, and the wife hasn't seen Knives Out somehow. She missed that one. I know I saw it in the theater, and then I know I watched it when it came back out. She might have missed it, but we're gonna make sure we rectify that sometime this week.
There you go. That's a good idea.
I enjoy that one too. So it's like, rewatch that. Perfect.
Yeah, for sure. Nice. That's good because I'll be watching that tomorrow night.
If I could only get her to say that it's okay to rewatch the Lord of the Rings together, like if I could only get that.
I gotta watch Lord of the Rings still, and I gotta watch Andor still. Both of those are still must do.
I hear Andor's beautiful. It's perfect.
I've heard people say it's the best thing Star Wars has done, which is.
Rogue One is up there of best things they've done, so it's not surprising.
Well, and I love it for this fact that it's in the Star Wars universe and it doesn't involve Jedis. And what I think a lot of people don't understand about the Star Wars universe is most people, even when the Jedis were at their height before the Sith came in and wiped them all out, and Palpatine took over and became the Dark Sith Lord and the Empire and all that. Even before that, like right before that happened, there was still only something like 10,000 Jedi in a galaxy of over 1 trillion plus people. So like most people, even if they had heard of Jedi, thought it was fake or make believe or
had not
didn't
interacted
really
with the
exist.
Jedi.
Yeah, they never interacted. They'd never seen it, so it wasn't anything to them. You know what I mean? Blasters and soldiers were real. Jedi were make believe. Didn't believe in them. So to be able to go out into that world and show you what the majority of people see and feel and think in that area, I think is a really cool concept. So I'm excited to see Andor. And I heard it's like not James Bond. What did somebody say? I can't remember exactly now, but they equated it to like the James Bond of Star Wars. Not James Bond, but it was in like that style, and it had like this old Western kind of action kind of feel, I guess. A lot of people have just said it's really good, so I'm excited to start it. The problem is I know that's one where I'm gonna want to. I don't binge. Like I just can't binge. I can't sit down and watch like 8 straight hours of something. I can do 2-3 episodes, and then I gotta get up and move around, or I gotta go watch something else. Or sports is the only thing I can sit there and just binge all day. That's the only thing I can do that with. And my wife hates it because she could sit down and just binge shows, and we could just burn through them, and I can't do it. So, want to start Andor, but once we start it,
knock out three in a day, come back another day and do another 3, like you're good.
The kicker about that is having the little dude. So I can't just really watch him during the day, even on my week off, because he's out and about, and I'm playing with him and running around and doing things. So we got to just force ourselves to sit down and start watching them like one a night at a minimum, and start getting through that in Lord of the Rings.
I still got to get through. I got to sit down with the wife and do House of Dragon. So
yeah, see, that's what we did with House of Dragons. Now we have to go do that with Lord of the Rings and the other one. So we'll see what happens.
We'll do Andor first because Lord of the Rings is good, but it's nothing memorable or
Zach really liked it. About. Are you a big Lord of the Rings person though? Like, do you know the mythology past the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, like the Silmarillion and all of that stuff?
I mean, I read the books. I feel pretty good about it. I liked the movies a lot. This show, just there's nothing. I think the story is interesting, but somehow
the characters just didn't quite captivate you, because I've heard that from a couple people.
Yeah, none of them. None of them are.
I've heard that. Story was good. The visuals are great, but for some reason the characters just didn't quite.
I mean, I kind of like. I forget her name. She's in the movies. Galadriel. Yeah. Her being like a warrior in this is cool. But like that's really about it. So
all right, we'll start with Andor then.
I didn't. It's good. I recommend someone watching it, but I could say Wheel of Time on Prime is almost just as good, if not better.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Well, Pinky, I know we want to kind of keep it a little bit shorter tonight, an hour-ish, give some people some stuff to watch and listen to, but we got family and things in town, and everybody else does, so we're trying to keep it a little shorter on the holiday week, a little shorter.
All right.
The only other sports topic I have, unless you can think of something else, because there's a lot of good basketball over Christmas and things of that nature. I'm not going to get into that right now. Like I said, that's all going to start getting heavy after the first of the year, especially after the Super Bowl. And that's right when, the All-Star break rolls around. But I've always said kind of Christmas feels like the start of the NBA season. So if you haven't started watching basketball, you definitely need to. Nugs are first in the West. Jokic is playing at an MVP level again, even better than he was the last 2 years. He could become rarefied air and a three-peat in the MVP if the Nugs keep it up. Ja Morant doesn't think anybody in the West is worthy of his time, and all he has to do is worry about the Celtics to win a championship. The Celtics are first in the East, and they're looking really good. Like I said, there's a lot of storylines we could talk about. We're just not quite there yet. I don't want to take away from Pinky's football love, and we know I love football as well. So we're gonna heavy on that, and we'll come to basketball, and Pinky will follow. I know
I'm gonna throw you a curveball right now.
Uh-oh.
Well, before I talk about something that I know is dear to your heart,
okay,
I think we should talk about what's happening Friday night. Do you know where I'm going?
I don't.
It's
maybe
special.
I do.
Somebody is
night.
coming back to SmackDown.
Oh, John Cena. That's right. I do remember that. Cena's coming back to fight with KO against the tribunal.
Roman Reigns and somebody else.
Yeah, the family, if you will. Yeah, that'll be worth watching Friday for sure. I'll throw that on in the background.
I saw that, and the thing I was like, Cena's back.
Yeah, I'll watch some Cena. I'll check.
I mean,
that out.
it'll be short. He won't be around for more than a couple months, maybe.
No, but the title's not on the line, so I have a feeling I'm going to get to watch KO and Cena win, and that'll be even more fun.
That's fun. And I'm just done with Roman Reigns. I'm just tired.
Yeah, I'm done with the whole family. That storyline is old and played out.
I'm just tired of like basically the same thing every time. The family intervenes.
The other thing I like
to help him win.
Let's be honest. If you and me were buddies, and that was happening to one of us, wouldn't we find like 10 other dudes and always roll with us to ringside every time so that they couldn't do that to anybody? Like, isn't that what we would end up doing? So the fact that the WWE hasn't allowed another group to come and like challenge them consistently is a joke in the right.
Well, they made I know they like started with the Profits for a little bit, and then
but they never gave them any. They always had like the goofy challenger. They never had like a real like serious like.
Right.
Hey, Undertaker, John Cena, and Hulk Hogan in their prime have decided to team up and come after you guys. Like, they haven't tried that. You know what I mean? Like, where's Brock Lesnar and
Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley?
Bobby Lashley. Who's these hands? Why can't I think of Braun Strowman? Like, let those three go team up and take on the family and see how long they keep their titles. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, come on.
So I thought you'd like that.
No, but that's good. I like that. Check it out. WWE SmackDown Friday. Little John Cena. Come on, Peacemaker. Everybody get in on that.
Little John Cena. And then I thought we got to talk college football, baby.
That was the other thing I was going to discuss before we rolled in the NFL.
I feel like I know a lot of people out there are hoping Ohio State will upset Georgia and Michigan win so they can go back at it again. I think Georgia's just going to dominate. I just do. I don't see Ohio State having the dudes right now. I just don't.
Here's where I'm torn, and I'm actually going to pick Ohio State. And I'm not happy about it, but this is what I've come back to time and time again the more I go over this game. Georgia's defense is not what it was last year, and they can be exposed. And right now, at this very moment, you could argue that Ohio State has the two best wide receivers in college football. And look, don't at me because I know that's an argument. Guy down from TCU, crazy good. You got Addison out at USC.
I mean,
there are other people in the conversation. Okay, I
think you could say that they at least have two of the top 5 in college football, and
cool.
I think you'd be
however
okay
you
with
want
that.
to word it. I'm good with that. They got two of the top 5 wide receivers. I got two of the best in the game. They arguably have the best quarterback in college football, and they arguably have one of the top 5 running backs in college football. In Travion Henderson. Why does the first name not sound? Travion.
Number 30, baby. Number 30.
Yeah, I think it's Travion, but Henderson. Him and Bijan Robinson are considered 1 and 2 in many circles. So when you have that much offensive firepower and Georgia's defense is just not what it was last year. They're not bad, but they can be got. And then Ohio State's defense is hit and miss all season, hit and miss. The Michigan game, I think, was a bit of a fluke because it was like 17-10 or 17-14 or something like that at halftime. And then Michigan came out the second half and Ohio State didn't show up and they just opened the floodgates. But I think a lot of people forget that first half of that game was really close. I am actually going out on a huge limb here, and I'm predicting upsets in both games. I think TCU is going to win, and I think Ohio State's going to win, and I think Ohio State wins the Natty. And I don't like saying that out loud. Like it feels like a throw up in my mouth as I'm speaking.
I don't see that
going to happen.
I don't see TCU stopping Michigan from running the football. I just don't.
I don't either. But I also don't think Michigan has played a an offense that is consistent and all the way well-rounded as TCU. And I think TCU, the way they played against Kansas State and allowing Kansas State to win that game and come back, I think they're motivated. And I don't think Michigan has an offense. Like, all Michigan has is a running game, in all honesty. And TCU plays defense. Like, they play defense. So if
TCU wins, it's good for college football.
I think it'd be great. I would love to see TCU and Ohio State. That's who I'm picking. I know they're both upsets. I don't think either game's going to be a blowout, which would be extremely abnormal for these semifinal matchups. Usually both games are not worth watching. But I think we're going to see 2 close games, and I think we're going to see 2 upsets by the chalk line.
We all win. Alabama's not in the final, so we all win. So it's good.
You know what's really sickening about college football right now? Like, just absolutely disgusting and makes me almost want to not even watch anymore. Guesses? Any?
I don't know. You'd watch almost anything on ESPN. So
Deion Sanders making Colorado good.
It might take a little bit for that to happen, man.
I don't think it's going to. And it makes me sick to my stomach.
They do play in the Pac-12. So him turning them bowl eligible in one season's not that's. Really
I'm not talking bowl eligible. I'm talking like 10+ wins. Dude, he's bringing the number 1 recruit from 2 years ago with him. He's bringing his son, the quarterback, who's going to be I'm convinced he's going to be really good even at this level. He's already got 3 top 300 recruits, 2 4-stars and a 5-star. Like, damn it, Deion. Why? If I have to watch Nebraska lose to Colorado for the next 2 years because Deion Sanders somehow got a job at Colorado, like, how did Colorado even get Deion Sanders?
I do love that Deion's already got his own Colorado merchandise. It's the Colorado logo, and then it's got Prime underneath of it. They're
and I love me some Deion. Always have. Ever since I was a little kid, he's always been one of my favorite athletes. Now I got to root against him.
But only one game. The rest of the season, it's okay.
No.
They're in completely different conferences. It doesn't matter.
No, you don't root for Colorado. No.
Stop being a hater, bro.
I might catch myself rooting for Prime. But never for Colorado.
He's gonna maybe he might make the team good for like a year or 2, and then he's gonna bounce. Like
that's what I'm hoping for, and then I'm gonna be good. Then I'll be just fine. Because I know that's being a hater, bro. That's not being a hater. Yo, Colorado did that to themselves. Those people up in Boulder are trash. And I will freely say that. Maybe it's just the college students that are trash. I don't have much experience outside of the college students. Not good, though. Not good. People in Boulder have never treated me well. Ever. And that's whether I'm going up there to hang out with friends just for a night and, go drinking and partying and stuff, or if I'm up there wearing all red for a game. I have never been treated well by people outside of my circle in Boulder. They're dicks. Trust fund hippies, and they're not nice people. Boulder's a cool city, though. As a city, Boulder's super cool. And that stadium, I hate giving Colorado any credit, but that stadium is badass. The way it's set up against the Flatirons, it's kind of in a bowl. Cool stadium, cool venue. The surrounding area, awesome. People, trash. Therefore, never root for Colorado. Nope. Won't happen.
Just a hater.
Not hating, man. It's just facts. Like, you treat me like trash, I'm not going to, root for you. Is what it is. I've had friends that showed up to a Nebraska game versus Colorado in Lincoln, didn't even tell me they were coming, and we ran into each other. And they flat out told me, this is the best time I've ever had at a college game. And I'm not even in Colorado. I'm in Nebraska doing it. I'm like, yeah, it's because we're not assholes. Just, little decency and honesty with what your team's doing, and everything's good. Colorado doesn't have that. Dude, I had a crutch from 8 rows back tag me in the back of the head because the kid saw me wearing red in the stands. He then proceeded to eat shit 8 rows down because, he kind of needed the crutch to stand up. And then he got stomped on by, my little group that was with me, kind of protecting me and insulating me. But yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Oh, Caleb.
Move along. Get out of this subject. I'm just gonna wind
I
myself
know
up.
you get so hurt on that.
Can't stand that stuff. Get out of here.
Well, got some NFL happenings this last weekend. Again, we had Saturday, Sunday.
Before we get
and
to
a
the
Monday
games, I
night
think we
game.
should start with the news.
Which news?
Oh, there's quite a few pieces that came out over the last couple of days. I think we should start there. You pick
Tua's
one,
in
I'll pick
concussion
one. Let's go
protocol
with it.
again.
Tua in a concussion protocol. It's a big story. I think that's scary, personally. He could start looking at career ending if these don't.
I mean, that's what did Troy Aikman. That's what did Steve Young in, like, because they became
There's
more
a lot
frequent.
of NFL players that you've never even heard of that stopped their career because of concussion issues.
They just, once you start having them multiple times, they're easier to have.
Absolutely. And when you have one as bad as Tua did, and then it gets misdiagnosed as badly as it did, and then you get another one a week later as bad as he did, it's not good. So I'm worried for Tua. And that what really sucks about it is how well he's been playing this year. And really starting to show people that he can be one of the top guys on one of the top teams. He can. But if he doesn't clear concussion protocol for this week's game, that is going to start worrying me for his long-term health and ability to play this game.
Well, again, it's sometimes concussions, sometimes it takes a week. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks. Sometimes it takes like 6 months. Like, you don't know.
Exactly. That's great point, Pinky. Great point, my guy. So, and that's where, if this lingers for Tua, I think he could be having to sit down and have a serious conversation about his future.
Dolphins needed that win this weekend. They really did.
Sure did.
And you called it. You said Aaron Rodgers would win that game, and they did.
You know what's funny is I said that I like them to get to the Super Bowl. Well, about 5-6 weeks ago, I said, man, I hate saying it because I think they still have a chance, but I think they're done. Like, I called them done. And then last week I said, actually, that little sliver of hope that they have, everything's going to happen the way they need it to, and they're going to get to the playoffs, and they're going to be dangerous. And Pinky laughed at me, and I get why he laughed at me, and he said there's no chance, and I get why he says there's no chance. But I'm back. Hey, Ron, you and me, baby, all the way. Super Bowl. Here we go. Let's do it.
I don't want to see that. Let's not do that.
I do real bad. So Tua concussion. We'll get to the games. Tua concussion protocol. JJ Watt seemingly announcing his retirement in kind of a vague tweet that it was his daughter's first NFL game and his last home NFL game. Kind of sounds like he's retiring, and he is one of the all-time great defensive players that the NFL has ever seen. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If he doesn't have the injury history that he did, I think he goes down as one of the top 3 defensive players of all time.
He would be up there for sure. I mean, I kind of wish he'd go chase a ring next year. He might. Who knows?
I would like to see it, but you know what I think it is, Pinky? And this is something that my cousin told me when he said he was finally done with baseball. And it's not like I said, he got his cup of tea in the major leagues, played a lot of minor league baseball, but he had a couple different surgeries. Shoulder, he had a Tommy John, and after his last injury, he rehabbed through the team and got fixed up and everything. But he said, I can't do this rehab grind anymore. I just don't have the love, the passion for the game that I used to where I can do this grind for a year and a half, and then get back out there and start playing when it continuously is happening. And I think when I heard JJ Watt's announcement, that's the first thing I thought of was, yeah, he's great when he's on the field, but I think he might just be done with that injury grind and doing everything he can to try to keep his body healthy and then get hurt and then try to rehab and come back. I think that's what it is. If he's really done, That was my initial thought.
I mean, you probably hit that on the head. I mean, that's got to do a little bit with injuries. It could be a little bit with, being down in Arizona really hasn't gone the way he was hoping it would go.
Not at all. And he's what, 34?
He's 34. He's still got it.
He's definitely still complaining.
He had 3 sacks against the Broncos. He looked like a game wrecker against the Broncos.
He can still play. I definitely don't think that's the issue, and that's why I lean more towards that. He just doesn't have that go through the grind mentality.
I could still. I mean, I would just love to see him. Philly next year, Buffalo, like KC. I would just love to see him chase a ring. I don't need you to play.
Get Sue come back one more season and go throw him with the Eagles and everybody else on the team.
I don't need you to play 30 snaps. I just need 15 to 20 from you.
Hey, I'll tell you what. If you just want to come in on 3rd and longs and wreak havoc, you can just come in on 3rd and longs. You do what you want, JJ.
Right. I don't need you to stop the run. I don't need any of that. I just need you to give me, 3rd down pass rushing. That's all I need.
Yeah.
And because
somebody might be able to convince him to do that. You know what I mean? Somebody might be able to, but that's one of the all-time greats. We'll be hanging it up.
I still have my JJ Watt Texans jersey. I mean, I love that guy.
I've always been a big JJ Watt fan for sure. Plays the game the right way, and he's a beast. You know what I mean? It's fun watching those interior dudes just eat people alive when they're that good. Just like Donald. It's fun watching him play when he can take double and triple teams on and toss guys aside. That's what JJ was doing before Donald even showed up, And I think when Donald started really tearing people up, I think people forgot how good JJ Watt really is, to be honest.
Oh, man. That year he was runner up to MVP. He was runner up to, I want to say it was one of Aaron Rodgers.
Might have been.
I'd have to look it up. I think it was 2014 or 15.
I was going to say 12, 14. But yeah.
No, 12 was Peterson, and 13 was Manning.
Okay. So, yeah, 14 would be about right then. Yeah.
14 or 15, I think, was when it was. But he had that fantastic year. He had like 3 or 4 offensive touchdowns. I think he had 2 defensive touchdowns. Like, he was crazy. And he was second in the MVP. And I was like, he is the MVP. Like, he's literally carrying that Texans team, and he's a defensive player.
Yeah, people don't like voting for what those trophies really mean. I mean, it reminds me of, you saying that the way you say it. Reminds me of when Sue got screwed out of the Heisman because he played for a Nebraska team that wasn't necessarily great. And he lost out to – who did he lose out to that year? Was that Ingram? Mark Ingram?
Might have been.
I think it might have been that year. But Sue was the best college football player, period. There was zero doubt about that. And the fact that he didn't get it because they want to give it to an offensive player and this and that. And that stuff's a joke to me. Like, I get that if you want to give it to the best player on the best team, like if that's how you vote every year, I get that. But I think Russell Westbrook was a perfect example. The first year he won MVP and had the triple-double average for the year. They got to the playoffs. Oklahoma City made the playoffs that year. And people were like, well, the next year he did it again. And they're like, well, if you voted for him for MVP last year, you better do it again this year because he's doing it just as good, if not better. I'm like, yeah, but the team isn't quite the same. And that's not all his fault. But when you elevate a team that should be dead last to playoffs, and like Sue elevated a team that was not great without him, they should have won the Big 12 championship that year. But the refs in the Big 12 were like, oh God, throw a second back on that clock and let Colt McCoy win because we cannot have Nebraska coming out of this conference. That would be a bad representation. It would look bad for all of us. So I hate when stuff like that happens. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. Other big news before I get to the biggest news. Do you have anything else? Because I just remember 3 big stories.
I don't remember the other story.
Something that I said should happen after week 1.
Oh, well, I don't know. Is that the biggest story of the week?
I think it's the biggest story simply because everything that comes with it. Broncos fired Nathaniel Hackett. George Patton comes out and says Russell Wilson is fixable. Like, wait, what?
He didn't say that. Fixable? The owner said that.
Well, Patton came out and said it not in so many words.
The owner was the one that specifically said
the owner is the one that used specifically fixable. You're right, but the owner wouldn't be saying that if Patton hasn't already talked to him about it. You know what I mean? Like, and Patton said that just without saying it in his press conference. And Patton's safe. By all accounts, Patton's safe, which blows my mind because he is the reason the Broncos are in this position. So the fact that GM who brought in this team and created this team is safe, dude, if I'm that ownership, I'm getting rid of everybody. Seriously. I'll pay it because of how much money they have. I don't care. I will cut Wilson. I'll fire Hackett. I'll get rid of Patton. And I will start all over with my people because they inherited all of that. Now, they did agree to go ahead and sign Russ to the big extension early. It is their money. They wanted to try and get ahead of, the market, if you will, and make a good deal even cheaper as years go on, which I get as a business person. But I think they very quickly learned their lesson on that. And I think they realized why Patton wanted to wait to pay him, kind of a prove it to us first thing. So Patton was right in that respect. But man, I don't, but you know how I felt. I haven't been high on any of the moves he's made. So is what it is. Now the Broncos had a lot of injuries this year. Well, they're like third or fourth most in the league.
Most.
It is the most?
The most.
Okay. So, I mean, that's going to hurt. That's going to suck. But even if everybody is healthy, I don't see this season going much differently, to be perfectly honest with you.
If everybody was healthy for a lot of the season, I could still say that they probably would have gotten 7 wins. I think they could have gotten a couple more if they had their full squad. But
that's not saying much, though, right? I mean,
it's still not what we thought they were going to do. So again,
not anywhere close to what they thought.
It's still a disappointment, but it's not like where they are right now, which is like the lowest of the low.
They're the worst team in the NFL by far, no questions asked, and they have the least amount of hope out of any team in the NFL as well. So you're the worst and the least amount of hope. That's bad, man. That's just bad.
Yeah, hopefully they get the guys back that make a difference. That's the only thing you could hope for. No.
Well, what do you want to recap from last week before we move into this week?
Thanks to the Rams for putting that ass whooping on the Broncos to make them get the coach fired. But
how bad is that the Rams did that? Like, that's how bad the Broncos are.
I think you could see like the defensive guys literally just gave up. They weren't trying, and they had been playing hard all season. This is the one game you'd look and you'd be like, nobody's playing well. Like, nobody.
Oh, they weren't trying at all. When Baker Mayfield does that to you with a bunch of backups, that's a bad thing.
Let's see. There wasn't anything shocking. I guess I was shocked by the Panthers putting that whoop down on the Lions. I was kind of.
Dude, I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming at all. Now, we said at the beginning of the year, we thought the Panthers would be competitive and a sneaky possible playoff team. Outside, we didn't say they were going to make the playoffs, but we said we could see them putting something together with the talent they had on that team. They fire their coach. They trade Christian McCaffrey. They got a bunch of injuries, and somehow they're in position to win that division.
Got to give Cowboys credit. Best game of the weekend was Eagles-Cowboys.
Definitely. Easily, and I don't think that outcome changes with Jalen Hurts playing.
I don't know, man.
He didn't play bad, and they hung 34 points.
He didn't play bad, but he did throw some picks that didn't help. Not to say that Hurts doesn't throw those, but there's no. The Eagles didn't run the ball as well as they normally do because there was no threat of Minshew running.
Hurts isn't there, right? Exactly. I agree.
Now, is this game still a down to the end team who gets the ball last kind of game. I think it is, even with
I do
Hurts.
too.
So, and again,
I
I
still think
still
the
think
Eagles are the better team.
I think you could line both teams up, and even with Minshew, and you could still get a different outcome every time they play.
Agreed.
Right. So I just thought it was a good game by both teams. I didn't see it as like, yeah, the Eagles lost, but it was all, fourth quarter into the game. Like they played well.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are the better team. I wouldn't say by much. I wouldn't say there's a huge gap between the two. On any given day, either team could win. But I would still say if I had to pick, I'm taking the Eagles.
I mean, I think that definitely helped the Cowboys, though. I think it gave them a little bit of that, like, oh, we can beat this team. Like,
absolutely,
help them with some of that confidence.
Cowboys are the third best team in the NFC right now.
Before moving to next week, the only other game I really want to say is I'll just give it to the Chargers for not charging.
They did not making the playoffs, right? They did find a way to win.
It hasn't looked pretty,
not at all. What that offense should be and what it is are two very different things.
It does not look right. And that could be, again, they've got 2 O-linemen out. They're dealing with O-line injuries, as a lot of teams are. But, I mean, Herbert doesn't look awesome.
No, like he's something just doesn't. They can have like 4 or 5 plays in a row where you're like, oh, shit, nobody's going to stop them. Like, that's dangerous. And then they could go 10 in a row where you're like, what the hell just happened?
So, this next week, I think we're going to get the finishing touches on most of the NFC. Maybe of the NFC. Cowboys are playing the Titans on Thursday Night Football. Cowboys should steamroll Malik Willis.
They should.
Malik Willis, I feel bad for the guy. You're getting in, you're kind of raw. Having Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence running at you. We'll
see though. What's the Cowboys' one glaring weakness? Run defense.
They do struggle against the run.
So Tennessee might be able to keep it closer than people are expecting.
But when you don't have to respect that passing game.
Not at all.
At all.
Not at all. I'm a big Malik Willis guy. I think he's going to be really good. I do. But he's getting thrown in there with possibly the top 3 wide receivers out. I think Robert Woods will play. He's been playing the last 3 or 4 weeks, so he should be in again. But
Treylon Burks is playing.
He won't be there. He will. He's playing.
He played last week.
Did he?
He only caught 1 ball, but he played.
Oh, man. I thought he was still out.
No, but Malik Willis only throws 10 passes, so you don't have a lot of chances.
I think a lot of that is Vrabel. To be honest with you, I love Vrabel, but after seeing what he's doing with Malik Willis, I'm feeling a lot of my head just went blank. Who was the Dolphins coach last year? Why am I drawing such a blank on his name all of a sudden?
Oh my God.
I can see it in my head. Now. Brian Flores.
Yeah.
The way he treated Tua. I'm starting to feel like I see a lot of that with Vrabel. And I don't feel like there's a lot of teaching and growing going on as much as there is, this is what you do and this is what you don't do. And we already told you you're not good at that, so we're not going to do it. That's what it feels like to me coming out of Tennessee. And I could be wrong, but I'm getting the same feeling I did with Flores and Tua.
Let's see. We got Bears, Lions. Nobody gives a shit.
They should. Lions are in the playoff hunt still.
They should have won that game. They got spanked by the
still
Panthers.
In the playoff hunt. So that game matters still for the Lions.
That's going to be a tough game, man. The Bears, they may not do a whole lot right, but they will run the ball down your throat. So Broncos, Chiefs, that's a turd. Beast. Yeah, he's really good at running the ball.
We'll get you to change that opinion. Don't worry, Pinky. We'll get you to change that opinion.
Bears need to go get him a wide receiver, and let's see what happens. He needs a wide receiver. Mooney's good, but he's not a number one. But
they're going to have some draft capital and a bunch of cap space next year. They could go out and pull a Jags move.
Maybe, but all the Jags did was overpay for a lot of guys, which will come back to get them eventually.
It's got them what?
Again, that's a shitty division, bro. In a regular division.
Look, We're not
They're
talking
not
about
close.
that. What did it do for them, though? It put them in a position to win,
It helped
right?
make them competitive.
And here's the other deal. You say those are bad contracts, but honest to God, over the course of time with those contracts in the next couple of years, those could turn out to be really good contracts.
They overpaid every single one of those guys.
I disagree.
And that's okay, because you have
to.
Nobody wants to go play in Jacksonville. You had to overpay.
I think
that's the point.
I think we have to stop saying overpay. I think they paid them more than what the market was. So yes, I agree in the sense that it is overpaying, but they're winning and the guys they paid are playing well. You know what I mean? It's not like they're playing bad and they paid them. Kirk is having a career best season. Zay Jones is playing better than he's ever played. You know what I mean? So like the guys they paid are playing well.
Zay Jones has made his contract look good. Zay Jones
Christian
really
Kirk is going to go close to 90 catches and 1,000 yards.
I mean, you can get that from some rookies, though. I mean, it's good, but it's not great.
Could, but he's been good. You know what I mean? Like he's been good.
But they paid him for more. The money he got was for more than that.
I know we've been on very different sides of that fence and how we feel about it. I like what the Jags did.
And I mean, again,
it's only going to get better from here. Like they're only going to be better next year, I think.
Well, hopefully. Again, they're competitive. They play in a shitty division. I mean, the Colts or the Titans should have ran away with this division, and they're not. So,
we gotta. I'm gonna dive in here for some nonsense. We got a question. Have to ask. How did that nickname come about? Color or appendage? I'll let you answer your own nickname.
My nickname?
It's got to. Caleb's a real name. It's not a nickname, so it's got to be talking about Pinky.
I don't know. Caleb could be a nickname. Well, my last name is Pinkerton, so basically they just took the last part off of it and said, "You look like a Pinky." So
Pinky just hanging out with enough buddies and having a last name. What he does, he just got shortened and throw a Y on the end, and boom.
I mean, we'd always love to say it's an appendage, right? But
nice and easy, exactly. It's a simple answer. It's not a crazy story behind that one.
It was cool. I mean, my son's named Pinky too. Like it's become kind
Pinky
of a family.
Junior. Yep, that's Junior.
Family nickname. But his friends in high school started calling him Pinky without knowing that I'm called Pinky.
Oh, so, good. Okay, even better. So, perfect.
Yeah,
nothing like my nickname. Yours has like an honest, legit, reason to have it.
What is your nickname?
Murder. C Murder, to be exact.
Yeah, that's lame.
Have you never heard Zach call me Murder?
No.
Or Chase?
Never.
Good. Let's not.
Never.
Yeah,
we're all adults now. That's what that says.
Yeah, doesn't stop some of them. I'll tell you that right now. Nothing better being 22, 23 in a bar and hearing 7 or 8 people just start yelling murder and watching the whole bar just be.
We don't have too much time left, but I think I got just enough.
Just enough for a little tap.
Little Four Roses tonight. This is fantastic.
I haven't had it. Four Roses is delicious.
At Sam's Club, this is $30. This big old bottle.
That's good to know.
It's nice.
Or third option, Pac-Man. What are we? What am I missing about Pac-Man? Yeah, I like beautiful 91.91. Come back every week, buddy. You're a smart guy. Yeah. Four Roses is delicious. Oh, right. Oh. Sorry. Yes. Thank you. Duh.
Good Lord. I knew that.
Oh, that was terrible. Terrible. That was.
We're old enough to know that one, Caleb.
Cheers to you guys, because I totally forgot about that. Totally forgot about the ghost and was not thinking clearly. Sorry. Well said, sir. What else we got? Because I do want to sneak a little fantasy in here towards the end.
Well, let's just run through real quick. Broncos, Chiefs. That's Chiefs are going to dominate.
Chiefs are smoking, yeah.
Browns, Commanders. I think Commanders win this one now that Carson Wentz is back. Hopefully they play him.
Ron Rivera, amazing human being in my opinion. Great man. Awful head coach. Me personally, that's just how I feel about it. I do not think he is
I don't
a good
think he's
head
an
coach.
awful head coach. I just think he's average.
Okay, you want to give him average, that's fine. I am still mind blown at how Carson Wentz gets dogged on as much as he does. He has to be a terrible human being and a terrible teammate for people to keep throwing him under the bus and not playing him the way they do.
I mean, oh man, our buddy here's he's on point, but the Browns have something to play for because they don't have their draft pick, so they don't want to give the Texans a better draft pick. They want to keep winning, building up that Watson confidence.
He's right. Washington needs this to stay in the playoffs. They lose this, they're out. Browns do have nothing to play for.
Are they out, or do they need help?
No, they're out if they lose
because they've got that tie, so they've got that kind of.
Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say they're out. What I do know is if they lose this, then they've lost 2 of their last 3, which means Green Bay is in if they win out. But I don't know if they win this if they're if Washington loses this. I don't know if they're for sure out.
They're in a weird spot. I know they're at that bottom end, and they would probably need some help if they lose.
There's a lot at the bottom of that NFC picture. There is a lot of options over these last 3 weeks. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that rolls. But
weeks ago,
I'm not worried about the
next
Browns.
Game.
Honestly, I'm not worried about the Browns.
I haven't seen Deshaun Watson
I think is
play
a trash
well yet.
play caller. When you have Nick Chubb and you're on the 5-yard line, and you have Kareem Hunt and you're on the 5-yard line, and you run 3 straight passing plays, fire him. Like, if I'm the owner, I'm firing him right after that game. Not joking at all. Not joking at all. I don't care who your quarterback is. When you have arguably the best running back in the NFL, and then his backup is one of the top 10 running backs in the NFL, arguably, and you throw it 3 straight times from the 5-yard line on goal to go, I'm out. I'm out on the Browns.
I love to argue with you, and I can't. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Caleb. Because, yeah, I mean, I don't think I would go that far as firing him, but maybe you need to look at other options. Maybe.
He's out. Just like I said, Hackett was out after game 1. I'm done with Stefanski.
This game a couple weeks ago, I would have said this game would have been a turd, but it's actually pretty legitimate now. Dolphins and Patriots.
I mean, let's be honest. The Patriots should get smoked. The Dolphins should run away with this game. The kicker, though, is if Tua doesn't play.
Oh, if Teddy B plays, this is a landslide. Landslide.
If Tua doesn't play, the Patriots win. For sure.
That Pat's running game will run over the Dolphins anyways.
Yep.
But if Teddy B's playing, you guarantee they are going to kill him.
And fantasy purposes, I'm sorry for anybody that's in the championship and has these guys. I've got Waddle. He is in my lineup right now for the championship. I'm telling you right now, if Tua isn't cleared, I'm taking every Dolphin offensive player out of any lineups I might have. And I will pray that it doesn't bite me in the ass. But they're all coming out if Tua's not playing. Wilson,
I don't like
Mostert, Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Gesicki, anybody, Sherfield, all of them are riding the bench.
I mean, if you've got Hill and Waddle, you can't pull them. You just can't.
I will,
but
because you know what I can do? I can put in Devontae Smith. I can put in Mike Williams. I can put in Kareem Hunt. That's not a good option, but I'm really deep. My dynasty team is stacked. I got some options. So Waddle is coming out.
Waddle's better than Mike Williams, even with Teddy B.
No way.
Mike Williams has done jack shit.
That's not true.
At least
Mike
the last
Williams
6 weeks.
puts up 20 and then 5 and then 25 and then 2 and then 27 and then 3. It's every other week with Mike Williams. So last week he put up like 7. So next week he'll probably go off for like 30.
He might. Yeah, he might. Let's get through these a little bit faster. Panthers, Bucks.
I like the Panthers. And you know why?
I like the Panthers.
Because I can see him running 200 yards again on the ground all over Tampa Bay. And right now, Tom Brady is wishing he had chose his wife over football. You watch that man on the podium. Watch that man on the podium giving his pressers now. That does not look like a man who loves the game anymore.
He is he doesn't like losing, and they don't look good. They do not look good. So let's see. 49ers, Raiders, 49ers.
Just rolling.
Landslide.
Let's be honest. Brock Purdy, the Niners quarterback of the future now?
They're still going to play Trey Lance next year.
God, do you think so? You really think so?
Pride is a bitch.
I get what they gave up to get him, but doesn't winning trump everything? Like, doesn't
Pride,
that, if you know you got somebody who can win, doesn't that trump everything?
Pride is a bitch.
God, man.
Brock Purdy goes and wins the Super Bowl. I think there's a big conversation to be had. But I still feel like they think they would be in their same position right now with Trey Lance. So
I believe they'd be in the same position if Trey Lance had played all season, because I thought he was going to get better as the season progressed. The dude hadn't played football in like 2 years. So I saw that.
Years
I
on
saw
fire. That's a good one.
I thought Trey Lance would be doing what Brock Purdy's doing right now. But now Trey Lance is going to basically not play any football for 3 straight years. And Brock Purdy came on looking better than Jimmy G did all season.
And Lance was having an issue reading defenses to begin with.
How do you take Brock Purdy out at this point?
I mean,
especially if right now the way it's looking and the way the brackets could line up, they're going to be in the NFC Championship game.
I see what he does. Again, I don't think he's got some limitations. They'd have to play a really good defense to show those limitations. Otherwise, he just keeps hitting the open guy.
And with that run game and all the weapons, you don't need anything more, right?
Right.
So pay the weapons, keep the quarterback, and move along. Twofold. I understand where you're coming from with the Raiders, but that's not the Raiders of this year. Josh McDaniel does not allow you to look this dysfunctional and then randomly win a game you shouldn't win. That's not a McDaniel MO. Sorry. I get where you're coming from with they're so dysfunctional they could come out and win this game somehow and everybody goes, what the hell? But no. Carr hasn't looked good this year. Devontae Adams is wishing he had stayed in Green Bay at this point. And how Darren Waller in the games he has played this year has been almost non-existent. Mind-blowing to me.
I have no idea what McDaniels is calling or what the problem is. Carr looked so good last year with no weapons, and now that he's got weapons, he looks like garbage.
As his coach. Now you're supposed to have somebody who's even more offensive-minded, and he's looked even worse. The only silver lining for the Raiders this year has been twofold. Max Crosby still looks like a legit D end in this league. And Josh Jacobs, they better figure out a way to get a deal done because he's walking.
Didn't they mess up on that? Man, did they mess up on that?
He's walking. There's no way he's coming back to the Raiders right now unless they give him a bag.
I just don't see him coming back to the Raiders, period.
Hell no.
Especially if Josh McDaniels was there. Josh McDaniels would be like, I can get the same production from like 3 people. We're fine.
That dude is a starting running back, and somebody's going to snatch him up. Guaranteed.
Oh, for sure. Dude, can you imagine him, like, if they were open to trading him during the season, what he'd be doing in Buffalo right now? Dude, it'd be over.
And let's be honest, the way James Cook has been running these last 3 or 4 games, I don't think Buffalo needs anybody else. I mean, Nyheim Hines is barely even touching the field now because James Cook is playing so well. So that bus came and passed. You know, the Raiders had opportunities and they blew it. They blew it back. But let's be honest. The Raiders charge better than the Chargers most of the time.
Well, the Raiders haven't been as good as the Chargers most of the time, so it's not been a surprise for them.
But you know what I mean? Like, they still find a way to get even worse.
They do. But like it's the Chargers, like the last 5 years have had Super Bowl aspirations.
Right. I know what you mean. I know what
preseason. And then, like, we're just like, no, like, I don't see that at all. Like, I don't see it. And then, of course, what happens? They find their way to Charger.
So while we're on the Raiders, I saw a stat. And I'm not going to have the exact numbers, but I'll just highlight, bold point, if you will, for you. Anybody remember the biggest draft bust of all time? Name anyone? Anyone?
Are you talking about Jawalrus?
Yep. I sure am talking about Mr. Jamarcus Russell. Leaf is close. Leaf is a close second, but Jamarcus Russell is probably on most people's list as the biggest draft bust.
I think.
Guess who has better numbers than Zach Wilson?
Well, Jamarcus Russell.
Jamarcus Russell. Now think about that for a second. Just a second. Saleh and the Jets are still publicly saying that they are committed to Zach Wilson and he is still going to be the quarterback of the future. Jamarcus Russell in his first 2 years had better numbers.
I didn't see any of those quotes. Everything I saw was Wilson was done with the Jets.
Oh, dude! Everything that they're saying publicly right now is still that he's going to be their long-term answer. He's going to
everything I saw on Bleacher said he is done. Like they are done with him.
So no, I disagree. Well, they could be doing two different things in interviews and public statements. Could be saying two different things. But what I'm hearing right now is that they're still committed to him. Which, right. I mean, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Cut his ass.
Let's run through these.
They, along with the Broncos and a few other teams, are wishing they had drafted Justin Fields.
They already had a running back. They're fine. Cardinals, Falcons. I mean, that's a turd. Let's just move on. Colts, Giants. Giants could. I think the playoffs. I think the Giants basically get in if they win that game. I think
they do, and they'll win. The Colts are so bad, and I don't understand how.
Jaguars and Texans.
I mean, it's going to be a win that. The Jags are going to be in the playoffs, and I called that shit.
Jags are going to win, but that's going to be a close game.
I'll give you that. The Texans have been competitive, like we kind of thought they were, but Jags are going to make the playoffs, baby. I should have bet you. I should have put something on that.
Yeah, you probably should have. I'll still, if they make it officially, which I don't see how they would lose out and the Titans would get in. I will admit I was wrong. I'm a man of my word.
Take that all day.
Saints, Eagles. I think that'll be a competitive game, but I think Eagles will win.
No, the Eagles will smoke them. 10+, easy. Saints are bad, dude. Real bad.
They are.
The Saints are exactly what we thought they would be this season.
Good on defense, horrible on offense,
and a terrible record.
They miss Sean Payton a lot.
We did call some of this record stuff correctly at the beginning of the season. We're also very, very wrong on some of the stuff.
We're a little off on quite a few, but you just never know what's going to happen. Jets and Seahawks. That's an important game for both teams because they both still have a shot, but that's tough to call.
Yo, we got family moving around. We're not super professional. We just give you super professional thoughts and opinions. The background and stuff, though, is not going to look super professional. You just got to run with it, okay? We're going to have dogs coming in. We're going to have children coming in. We're going to have wives speaking up. We just roll with it, okay? But stick with us. You're going to get really good information.
The worst is when they call you out. That's the worst. Let's see. Oh, that is pretty funny. I'll have to go back and watch that. Rams and Chargers. Chargers are already in the playoffs, so I don't think they really need it, but they should win that game.
They'll win.
They should win that game.
Derwin James probably not playing, though.
Possibly.
Vikings,
I think
with him being in the concussion protocol, I don't think they have any reason to rush him back. You know what I mean?
This is a big game. Vikings, Packers. If the Vikings want to put a stake in the Packers,
if the Packers lose, they're done. Period. They're done. So they have to beat Minnesota this week, and they have to beat Detroit next week. I think they're going to do it. I do.
I just don't know what Vikings team I'm going to get, right? I just don't. It is in Lambeau. So
this is what I would do if I'm the Packers. This is what I would do if I'm any team playing the Vikings, to be perfectly honest with you. I let Jay Jetta go off. I'll let him go for 250 and a tud. And I'll just shut down the rest of the team. And I think that is the recipe to beat the Vikings, to be perfectly honest with you.
That's again, you're probably right, Caleb.
Like I said,
Steelers,
this all back here, not professional. This right here, stick with us, people.
Steelers and Ravens. Ravens should win that game. It's not going to be pretty, but the Ravens are going to win that game. They're going to hit and sack.
If Lamar Jackson was playing, I'd say no question. Tyler Huntley has not looked good like he did last year. Last year when he filled in, he was looking like a lot of people should have been trading for him.
Amen. At least I have a football helmet in the background.
Does this work?
That does not work. A fat cat does not work.
It's not just a fat cat. It's like a fat cat lounging. It's like amazing. Look how awesome that is. Should I just do this?
I mean, you got to hang it. It just can't be behind you. You got to hang it.
Well, I'm not in my office today. I'm in the wife's office, so things are a little bit different.
Okay, that's okay.
I think I'll just
and then the best
game. I
appreciate
you, man. I'll try to do better.
Do better, suck less.
Right,
okay,
I'll
Caleb?
try. There's no guarantees. All right, like I said, we're about the information, not the visual. That's why we started without video.
We did. Those were good times.
The
best game of the weekend.
Were going on behind the camera then. Whew, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen.
That's when I could get up and go to the bathroom and nobody would notice.
Yeah, cigars just burning constantly throughout the show. It's great times. We should go back to no video.
I do have a face for radio from what I've been told. So
hey, man, don't worry about it. We're all there.
Best game of the week and probably the most important game of the week, Bills and Bengals.
Definitely the most important. I mean, you're talking 1 seed. Bengals still have a very small but chance to get the 1 seed. The Bills have to win out because right now they're tied with Kansas City record-wise, but they get the tiebreaker.
And I tell you, Josh Allen has not looked like Josh Allen.
Their offense has just been sputtering the last 4 or 5 weeks. Just not quite hitting on all cylinders like it was at the beginning of the season.
So I don't know if teams figured some things out against that offense, but it has not looked right.
From the games I've watched, and I could be completely wrong, but from the games I've watched, it looks like they're forcing the issue, and not just Josh Allen. The offense as a whole just kind of looks like they're forcing the issue rather than just playing what's given to them.
I see them trying to go for that big play all the time instead of just taking that 8 yards.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
but I think the Bengals win this game.
Oh man,
You throw up Tufel right as I say it. I'm with him. I think the Bengals win this game.
I do like Joey B a lot. Joe Shiesty is my dude.
Well, and then
I like that guy. You
got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They're both ones on almost any team in the NFL. T. Higgins is drastically underrated, in my opinion. Drastically underrated. I think he is a number 1. I think he's that good. And you put Chase on the other side. Joe Mixon's been playing great.
And now I don't know that T. Irwin, if that's a wide receiver or a tight end. All of a sudden, he's finding that T. Irwin all the time.
Tufel, you were doing really well, man. We really appreciated you. We loved having you on. We were going to welcome you back.
Got some good picks.
And then you went and talked about being a Chiefs fan. So, you know what? Goodbye.
We love Chiefs fans. We do.
We love everybody, man.
When I went to KC for a game, wearing all my Broncos stuff, and I'd have people come up and they'd be kind of giving me that eye, and I'd be like, "Fuck the Raiders," and we all agreed. We were like, "Yes, dude. F the Raiders."
Oh, and he's a Colorado native. This guy's a Colorado native. Just all right, Twofold, this is your last chance to be a productive member of this show in the future. Are you a CU Buff fan? The right answer will keep you around.
I root for Air Force, so there's that.
Are you a CU Buffs fan? Oh, thank God. All right, this guy's good. I like this guy. He can stick around. That was a brilliant answer. This guy.
Yeah.
Avalanche fan, great.
CU so bad, I just root for the Hurricanes, right?
Love it. Love this guy. Avalanche fan, not a Buffs fan. This guy's good. I like him. He can stick around for sure.
I think the Avs are still getting whooped today.
It's all right. Pinky, again, we went through this in the middle of last season. Not a big deal. Don't worry about it right now.
You shouldn't be getting whooped by the Coyotes, bro.
Dude, they got a lot of injuries. They're more injured right now than the Broncos are. Take that into perspective.
It's close.
And the Avalanche actually still look good from night to night. The Broncos look trash all the time. So, see what happens. But they'll be fine come the end of the season, Pinky. Don't worry about it.
I know. They're still making the playoffs. They're still going to have a good run. They just need to get McKinnon back. They need to get Landeskog back. They need to get Manson back. So,
Twofold, you'll love this. They're so injured right now. They're bringing dudes off the Mammoth. They ain't even getting hockey players to fill in. They're bringing the Mammoth players out to play for them. They're so injured.
Watching the Avs transaction waiver is hilarious because it's like every other week.
Crazy.
They're sending one dude back to the Eagles, and then the next 2 days later they're pulling him back from the Eagles. They're like, nah, never mind, come back. Come back.
It's wild. It's wild. Anything else, Pinky?
I was gonna say I think there's just a UFC fight night, but it's not a big one. They're not doing. I think the next big fights are January 21st. So,
all right, let's do this real quick to finish. Then just quick hits. Every game I want you to go through, and I want us to give for those in the championship for their fantasy leagues. I want us to give a start and a stay away from for every matchup.
Well, I'm going to be honest. Play the roster that's gotten you there. That's the best. I don't think you should tinker too much.
Don't get cute, you're saying?
Don't get cute. Don't pull Jalen Waddle.
Seriously, you're playing Waddle and Hill if Tua doesn't play?
I just have a hard time pulling Waddle. I think Waddle still has a good floor. He's not going to score 30 or 40 points with Teddy B. He does that on regular with Tua. He's not going to do that with Teddy B.
Yeah, but you think Teddy B is going to have enough time being Teddy B in that matchup to get the ball out?
I think the last time, if I remember right, the last time I watched Teddy B play, he threw the ball to Waddle more than he threw it to Hill.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong about Waddle. I don't like it. But again, I have options. Most people probably do not have that luxury. So I'm in a fortunate position where I have other wide receivers I can throw in that are at the same level. Run through them real quick. Start Thursday night. Just real quick. We'll run through them.
Cowboys and Titans.
You're playing everybody on the Cowboys, and I fully believe you're still playing Derrick Henry.
Yes. That's the only Titan you're playing is Derrick
Agreed.
Henry.
I would not be playing Treylon Burks. I would not be playing Robert Woods. I would find alternatives.
Bears and Lions.
If Justin Fields is your quarterback, you can still start him safely.
Yeah. Oh, you're against the Lions. You're playing Fields and play Montgomery. No problem.
I like that. Komet, you could play in a pinch. If tight ends has been thin this year, a lot of injuries. Komet could be someone you could start.
Yeah, you're going to play Amon-Ra.
Good to go. If you're still playing DeAndre Swift, hoping for a better outcome, don't play him in the finals. Play somebody else. Amon-Ra is still good. Shark is probably still playable as well. If you have DJ Shark playing at a flex level somewhere, I'd be good with that. I'm not playing.
Bears corners are pretty good, so I don't know. I don't know about that one. Bears corners are pretty good.
Pretty good. I'll give you that, but I mean, you're definitely playing Amon-Ra for sure.
Broncos Chiefs.
Playing everybody on the Chiefs, and I'm not touching anybody on the Broncos.
I think you could play Murray if you had to. Against the Chiefs' run defense, I think you can play Murray.
If you don't have any other options, and that's somebody you've been running with, then yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, I drafted Sutton to be my second or third wide receiver in almost all my leagues. He sat my bench since like week 6.
I mean, you're safe playing Judy. Judy's putting up big numbers right now.
Last game he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He was 6 for 116.
I thought
he didn't score a touchdown.
No,
he still put up 100 yards last week.
Yeah, that's how much I've tuned out the disaster that is the Broncos. Okay, yeah, you can go Judy, I guess. Russ is trash. Murray, if you don't have any other options.
If you have Murray in the flex, I don't hate it.
I don't like Judy personally. I think it's an aberration, but I guess if you don't have any other options,
if you look at his last 6 weeks with the offense we're running, his last 6 weeks are pretty good, actually.
Okay.
Like, they really are. Oh.
I mean, I agree. He's had some solid performances. I just don't. Maybe I'm just so turned off by the Broncos now. I've just completely disowned them.
I think you have. And that's okay. I don't, like, nobody's going to fault you for that. I don't fault you for that. But legitimately, Judy's actually had, like, the last 6 weeks, it's like starting to look like, okay, you could do something as long as you stop being an idiot.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if he can do. We'll see.
You're right. Next.
Browns Commanders. Nick Chubb's been rough, bro.
Stefanski's a dumbass. Like, Nick Chubb should easily have 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns. Minimum.
The last 6 weeks, Chubb has really not done anything.
He's been running for like 80 or 90 yards a game on like 15 touches. It's like, dude, he's killing it, but you're not giving him the production he needs to help you win games, and let alone be fantasy relevant.
I got your flex play in this game if you have him. Jahan Dotson.
I was actually going to say, I like that. With Carson, if Carson Wentz plays, I'll give you 2 names. Jahan Dotson is one of them. You could safely start Curtis Samuel in a wide receiver spot with Carson Wentz. He averages something like 15 or 16 points a game, fantasy-wise, with Carson Wentz as the starter. Curtis Samuel, super dangerous, sneaky play this week. I like the Jahan Dotson as well. I think Brian Robinson goes for 70 yards and a tut as well in this particular matchup.
Yeah, I think I could see that. Dolphins, Patriots. Again, I don't like any Dolphins. I don't really love any Dolphins with Teddy B. If you have Hill or Waddle, you're probably playing them because you have to.
I think Ramondre Stevenson has a big game. I think he has a bounce back game.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dolphins can't stop the run. Panthers, Bucks, Foreman, Chuba. I don't
know if I feel great about Chuba. Although he did go for 100 yards last week with Foreman. You're definitely playing Foreman. Chuba is a coin toss. Godwin, you're probably playing Godwin if you have him, and that's about it.
You want to play Mike Evans, but I don't know if you can.
God, yeah, he's disappeared. Playoff Lenny is non-existent, so you're not playing him.
Did Mike Evans sleep with Brady's ex-wife?
I don't know.
Something's going on there.
Something's bad. Yeah. Godwin's probably the only buck that I feel good about.
49ers, Raiders. Obviously, CMC. Kittle has been amazing.
Kittle's been on fire last 2 weeks, so you can't sit him.
Ayuk probably. I mean, you're going to play Adams. You could play Jacobs.
I'm playing Brock Purdy as a starter in one of my leagues.
I played him last week.
Full disclosure, that dude's been money since he got the opportunity. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you have Trevor Lawrence, let's say, as an example, and Brock Purdy is available, I would have a hard time telling you to not go grab Brock Purdy and play him. I think Trevor has the higher ceiling. He could go off for 30. Brock Purdy has the higher floor. He will stay at about 22.
Bengals and Bills.
You're playing everybody. Pretty much everybody. You're not sitting anyone in that game.
Everybody's playing in that one.
Yeah. If you played them this year, like you said, don't get cute. If you've got somebody on one of those teams, you're playing them.
Cardinals Falcons. I don't know if I want to play anybody in that one.
Cardinals Falcons. You're definitely playing James Conner. You are definitely playing James Conner.
You're
I
probably
hate
playing
saying
Connor.
that, but you
You're
are
going to
definitely
play
playing James
Algier.
Conner. And you're definitely playing Algier. That was the other thing I was going to say. That dude's been money the last 2 weeks as well. Those two running backs you're playing. Everybody else is a crapshoot.
Colts Giants. Just play Barkley and call it good. That's about it.
I will say, and this is going to sound a little crazy, but if let's say Jalen Hurts was your quarterback and he's out again and your waivers are thin, Daniel Jones is somebody you could actually stream and feel good about. He's averaging like 21 a week right now.
Sure. He's using his legs too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So sneaky play. But if you're needing a quarterback because you've got a Hurts or somebody like that and they're not playing, Daniel Jones could be a good waiver wire ad this week to get you a championship.
Jaguars, Texans.
Doubtful you have anybody on the Texans because Damian Pierce has been out now. IR, out for the season. That's probably the only Texan you had.
You don't play any Texans this week.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So you probably don't have a Texan worth playing. Jags, you're playing anybody you have, honestly. You're playing Kirk, you're playing ETN. If you've been playing Zay Jones, just like Pinky said, don't get cute. Keep him in your flex. Evan Ingram, you are starting Evan Ingram. Yeah, if you got a Jag, you're probably playing him, and I wouldn't recommend against it. I would start him.
Saints Eagles. I don't like any Saints player.
You're playing Kamara if you have him. You have to, and he's probably going to get you a low 12, a high 20, somewhere in there. So it's not going to hurt you. Jawan Johnson is an interesting, like I said, tight ends have been super thin. He's had a couple really big games. If he plays, he might be worth starting. And then, everybody on the other side of the ball, who are you not?
You're
starting?
playing everybody on the Eagles. Everybody.
You're playing everybody.
And in fact, if Minshew's still playing, you better have Devontae Smith in your lineup. If Minshew's playing, put Devontae Smith in your lineup. He likes him a lot.
So here's a question for somebody like me, Pinky, who did a really good job building a dynasty team and is stacked. If Tua doesn't play, do you keep Waddle in, or are you putting Devontae Smith in instead?
I'd play Devontae Smith over Waddle for sure.
Okay, we're on the same page. Same page.
Gardner loves Devontae Smith.
You're just saying basically that Waddle has a high enough floor, no matter who his quarterback is, that he's worth keeping in if that's your option. That's what you're saying, basically, right? Okay. Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna boom at all. I don't think he's
gonna boom. Here's what I will say, and I'm serious about this. If you have a Jalen Waddle or a Tyreek Hill, and Tua doesn't play, and you have a Curtis Samuel on your bench, I'm going to tell you to start Curtis Samuel over either one of those guys. I am. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I know that sounds absolutely absurd and stupid and idiotic. Teddy B's not good. And while he does like those short intermediate routes, I just don't see. I see Curtis Samuel having a better opportunity for a big game over
not against the Pats. I don't see it against the Pats. Jets Seahawks.
You're playing Garrett Wilson, and you're absolutely thrilled that Mike White's coming back.
Yes.
Seahawks. You're playing. You're playing
Metcalf. You're playing Walker. Yeah. That's about it, really, for them.
Disley out, I think, hurts Metcalf's potential a little bit. I do. I think that limits Metcalf a little bit. So I'm a little concerned about Metcalf. And I've got him in a league, and I'm a little concerned, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I'm probably going to take him out, and I have a Curtis Samuel on my bench. I will probably sub out Metcalf for Curtis Samuel this week. I won't feel good about it, but I'm probably going to do it. But Ken Walker, I think you can feel good playing.
Rams, Chargers. All your Chargers are playing. You can I feel like you can definitely play Cam Akers.
I'll agree with you. Week. He's just getting enough touches to make it worth it. I'll agree with you on that. I also think
the Chargers run defense.
I also think if Tyler Higbee you have as your tight end, you're playing him for sure too.
Baker does throw to the tight end, so I think you're safe there. Vikings, Packers.
Playing everybody you got. If you got somebody, you're playing them. Yep.
If Christian Watson is healthy and playing, play him. Him and Aaron Rodgers have definitely got some
If
chemistry.
he's not, play Dobbs. If Watson's healthy, I probably am not playing Dobbs. But if Watson's out, I'm playing Dobbs. You're playing both the running backs. Yeah, I'm with you.
I think that's safe on both of those. Steelers, Ravens. Play Dobbins.
Play Andrews.
Play Andrews because you have.
You don't have a better option. If you've got Andrews, you don't have a better option. You know
I don't like it, but yeah,
Steelers,
play Andrews.
If you have Najee Harris, you're playing him because you probably don't have a better option. You're playing Freiermuth because you don't have a better option.
You can probably play Pickens.
That was going to be my sneaky. He could be a sneaky flex this week for people. Pickens could be a sneaky flex.
At the end, I don't care because I'm not in any of the championships this year. So,
Pinky had a rough fantasy year. I got a couple opportunities to still get a ship. We'll see how my ship plays out.
I got 2 last year, so I guess
last week was really bad for me though. Out of 6 possible teams I had going, I'm down to 2, and I don't feel good about either 2 in the championship either, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens. But you got a team in the championship. Congratulations to you. Good luck. Hope you pull it out. On that note, keep spending that time with your loved ones, family, friends, anybody else you care about in your inner circle. It was a good week to do it. New Year's coming up. It's even a better time to keep it going. On that note, cheers to you, my guy. Love you, buddy. I'm out. Peace.
Oh, I can't find the button. There it is.